Hi everyone, it's Sarah from Home Revival, and this is our first episode of the Paint Talks. Is a live interview series that I'm going to be doing every Monday night, and I'm going to be speaking to paint professionals and influencers from all over the world. I'm so excited. We're going to be finding out what keeps them inspired, what they did before paint, because that's always really fun to find out, and all the juicy stuff. So I'm really excited to introduce my first guest on the show. She's a president of a multinational company. She is an inspiration to hundreds of women all over the globe. She's humble and strong and dynamic, and she's also got very similar qualities to the Energizer Bunny. I've seen her schedule. I've seen how much she runs around. It's jam-packed, and she always makes time for us. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my first guest. I'm going to bring her up on screen if I can manage that. Let's have a look. There we go. Jennylyn Pringle, creator of Fusion Mineral Paint.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. That was the sweetest introduction ever.
Well, I had to cut it a bit shorter because there was so much more you could have said. There is so much more you could say. All of those things are completely true. I know you personally, so I know they are true.
Yes. Oh, and it's interesting when you hear those things being said about you. You're like, oh my gosh, you sit back and you just realize, yeah, okay, that's true. Oh my goodness, thank you. It's so nice to be recognized too, because I am very sort of down to earth, and I live in my own little paint world bubble, and I'm quite, on my own, and it's nice to hear the feedback.
I think that's one of people that are creative, and especially women. We go, oh, it's just that thing that we do. We downplay the amazing things that we all do.
That's true. And
so it is nice
we're juggling, we're juggling our kids, we're juggling life, we're juggling the home, and then the business, and no small feat. So we need to sit and pat ourselves in the back every now and then. Don't forget it, right?
Yep, for sure. This is why I'm doing it, and really, I'm doing this because I'll get to have a chat face to face with people that I just want to have a chat with, that otherwise I won't get a chance to, and I'm calling it work. So how about
that? I love it. Wish we could be sitting together in person, but you're just across the pond, so.
Yeah, we are. Right, so we're gonna get on with the questions. I'm gonna ask you some questions. Some of them are questions that the viewers have already asked, and I know that they're going to ask some more questions in the comments. So maybe if we've got a minute or two afterwards, we can answer some. So I'm looking forward to that, right? So the first one is, tell us about your business, although we know about that. Just a little bit about yourself and your business.
Sure. Okay, so I'm an entrepreneur. I have a 3-year-old. I created Fusion Mineral Paint now just over 4 years ago, and it's exciting. I don't know where the time has gone, but having a 3-year-old while having a 4-year-old business, it's like I had 2 babies at the same time, and that was really crazy. So just to back it up a little bit, my parents run a company called Homestead House Paint Company, and I've been working in the business with them since I was really, really tiny. So I've been living, eating, sleeping, breathing paint my whole life, and really watching the business side of things and how that goes, and that really kind of got my mind to thinking from the customer service level perspective of how things are. And I would watch kind of how they're growing their business, or how it wasn't growing, and seeing the struggles and really trying to come up with solutions. And I've always been this sort of problem solver, solution type person. So when I created Fusion, it was really out of a need for more of a one-step process product, something that's a little less expensive, something that's easy to use, something that just kind of ticked all those little boxes off.
It does.
And it was unique to the market. It didn't exist. But meanwhile, we kind of actually already did have something like that with Homestead House, and we had amazing acrylic paint, and it came in quart sizes, and it came in 32 heritage colors. That was it. 32 colors, that's all you got, and it did really, really well. So I'm thinking, I helped grow the Miss Mustard Seed brand. I helped sort of do the training for that way back in the day when it first came out. And I was thinking, there is a gap here. The milk paint was really taking off and doing so super well, but there was still that demand for something that was sort of pre-mixed and easy to go. And just decided to see what was missing and put that all together. And it took off. It took off like wildfire. It was
Yeah.
crazy. I had no idea it was just going to explode as it did. And here I'm thinking like, oh my goodness, are we going to be able to, like sell our batches, because our batches have to be made in a certain, amount, and the financial investment that's required and all of that. It was so intimidating. And but because we already had such a great product with Homestead House Paint Company for so many years, it just needed some new marketing. It needed a new size and new marketing. We actually did sell pints, believe it or not. So pints are one of our best selling sizes, but people are more used to the quart size. So I thought, you know what? Let's come out with a pint size and see how that does. Because for most projects, you don't need much more than a pint. And in fact, we know with Fusion, you can paint several pieces depending on the color and the finish and how many coats and all that kind of stuff, usually with just one pint. So let's do that and make it more accessible for people. So if you don't have a lot of money, but you got $25, you can get a whole new look. You can upcycle. You can help save the environment. You can do all of these things, which are all really near and dear to me. I grew up with no money. My mom didn't have anything. She was grabbing, furniture out of the garbage just to have anything in the home. And that's exactly where like all of this kind of stemmed from. That's a really long answer for one question. Sorry.
That's fine. That's completely fine. No, but I think the having the Fusion in pints is one of the first things people notice, and they go, "Well, that's not big enough." That's what they usually think. Until the shop that I've got used to be an Annie Sloan shop actually. Of course, there's our liters, of course, I suppose. And so when some of the old clients come back in, they go, well, what am I going to do with that little pot? And I'm like, honestly, it's going to be fine. And they come back, they just can't believe how far it goes.
Yeah. And sometimes you show people, it's like, I've only used this much of the container and I've painted this piece of furniture. It's about the quality of the ingredients that we use. And that's the key. We don't try to cut corners or save money on those types of things, because it's going to show in the end result or the user experience. So I would much rather have a lower profit margin on my end, but have the customer experience be superb, and then there's keep coming back. That's the whole idea.
Yeah, that's an excellent answer. So the next question was not that one. That was the first question. Dun, dun, dun. The second question was, how did you end up doing this for a living? You did touch on that with the last answer.
Yeah, so
it's a good story.
So believe it or not, I went to university for history and philosophy. Nothing to do with business whatsoever, and is actually because I did not qualify for business school because I didn't have the correct mathematics. I wasn't smart enough with the academics in terms of math. Eventually, after graduating, I did go and get all my maths that I needed, but I actually got a scholarship because my marks were very, very high for everything else. So I got a scholarship for this arts program, and it was based in history and philosophy. And I'm like, well, okay, I'll take the scholarship because I've got no money. I don't know how I'm going to afford university anyways. And then I'll switch out to business school after I get my proper math credits that I need. And I ended up sticking in this program. I loved it. I was volunteering on the side, doing event planning and outdoor adventure trip planning. And that's where I got my passion for travel, but also problem solving. So creating these trips from scratch and bringing people like myself that couldn't typically afford to go away and do anything. So it really got my entrepreneurial sort of brain going. And I graduated from that and did not love any jobs that I was finding. And no one wants to hire a 21-year-old because what do you know, really? Okay, you've been to university, great, you have a degree, who cares? I think I was 22 when I graduated. Got my first job, got fired from my first job within like 3 weeks, something really silly. It happens, right? And then I just went to my dad and I said, he was thinking of closing the business. And I said, well, I understand how the company runs. I understand the clients. I know the clients. I've been answering the phone since I was like 16. So I knew people by name. But it was a tough transition. When I offered to take over. He said, okay, give it a shot. I took over. Anytime I picked up the phone, they said, oh, can I speak with Lori, please? My mom, who they've been speaking to for, 12, 15 years. I said, well, she's not there, but can I help you? And then eventually it got to everyone wants to speak to Jenny because they know who Jenny is. So that's how I got involved with it, and then I really just kind of took it over. I was doing things mostly by myself, mixing milk paint by hand, weighing it, packaging it, taking orders over the phone. This was just as email was starting to come in, so it kind of took a while to get a little bit more automated. But yeah, we were getting orders by fax, like you name it, even till like 6 years ago. That's how we were doing it. So that's how I got involved in this.
So it's an awesome story, and Scott's very wise for letting you take over.
Oh my goodness, they are very, very proud, and it's just a series of fortunate events, really. And I always say, when one door closes, it's an opportunity, and you need to look at life that way, because, I thought I got fired from my first job, and I've had lots of little jobs through, but I got fired from my first official job after university, and I was devastated, and it happened on my birthday. I got fired on my birthday. I'm in the bathroom crying. They're like, okay, we'll take your cell phone, we'll take all your stuff, go home now. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do. So I
was a rebel. So I did get fired a lot. I didn't care though. I found out really, really early on I was definitely not employee material. I was definitely needing to be my own boss. I worked that out really, really young.
Oh, I'm with you right there.
It's not for everybody, is it? It's not for everybody.
No, it's not.
So I think you've touched on this as well, but what was your background before, and did it help you with your job? So like you said, really it wasn't in this industry, was it?
No, it wasn't in
the industry. Experience.
But I knew whatever I ended up doing with my life, whatever career path I chose, I knew I was going to be damn good at it, because I was driven and I always had ideas. I would always take initiative. And that's how I've gotten to where I am today, is by taking that initiative and asking those scary questions and stepping out of your safety box and
doing the big scary things.
Huge. And it's very difficult to take over for your parents and try and bring it to a different level and ask permission to do that. Like, that's a big deal. And to start not one new brand but 2 new brands, like that's huge too. And I did that all under the age of 30. That's big. So for me, I'm pretty proud about that. But man, it doesn't come easy.
No, it's I think being self-employed in any, it's not for everybody. I think people think, I spoke to a client once and she told me what she imagined our lives to be like. And she said, do you go to France and you just look around the Contes and buy pretty things? And I'm like, nothing could be further from the truth. I think everybody's got a romantic idea about this industry and what we do.
Think too, like when I do speak to people about, oh, that's amazing, you get to create the colors and you get to paint and you get to do all these things. I'm like, yes, yes, but that's a small fraction of what you do. And it's, everything from management, manufacturing, warehousing, distribution, marketing, social media. And you have to wear kind of a little bit of all those hats too. Because when you're first starting out as a small company and then you're slowly scaling up and adding 1 new employee here, 1 new employee there, it's a slow grind. And I use that word because it's a grind and it's a lot to get through. And I think it's important to share with people that it's slow and it takes time, and it's not an overnight success. There's no such thing. And there's many 14, 16, 18-hour days that are involved. And it is 7 days a week. There is no downtime.
No day off.
So, and even though, I was sick for the last 6 months and dealing with, this crazy rare infection, and that, has put me out quite a lot, but my business can't stop. So you just have to try and find ways to conserve your energy, but still get what you have to get done. Yeah. So that's been a challenge.
Yeah. I think we're our worst boss.
Oh yeah.
We couldn't have a boss worse than us for ourselves.
So that's the thing. I'm always like, I feel all this pressure to get all this stuff done. I'm like, no one's telling me to do it. I'm telling myself, I'm like, well, you got to do this vlog and you got to focus on that live video and there's a lot of things to do. But again, it's that self drive that I have, and I wouldn't be where I am without that. So it's like, you just got to take it.
Yeah, I agree with that. So the next question is, what is your most favorite part of this business?
Ooh, okay. So the fact that I get to be creative as well and come up with brand new products or colors or ideas or techniques.
Yeah, that
Like,
should be pretty
like
cool.
yeah, there's just so many different things. And like the farmhouse clock, I was talking to someone about that 2 years ago when I did that farmhouse clock video. It
Mhm.
just like went viral. You know, over 500,000 views on this farmhouse clock, and then all the retailers seeing everyone then offer those workshops and people taking them and then going into people's stores and people saying, "Oh, I know you." So I was at my son's school right before the holidays, and I'm sitting down with my son next to someone else, and this lady, this mother of another child at his school, turns to me and says, "I know you," and I'm like, "What?" And she's just like, "You do that? You're the paint lady," and I'm like, "Yeah." Like it's just so cool that people start to get to know you, and I'm very
Yeah,
transparent
yeah,
with my life and my son and the craziness that is behind the scenes because
yeah.
it's reality, and I think people connect with that
Yes,
too.
I
I'm
do.
like, I'm wearing a hat today because it's a bad hair day today. I'm not gonna lie. My
We
son's
were just,
first day back to school in like 3 weeks, so
yeah, we were just talking about that. I'll often, I just said, I'll often wear a cap and pretend I'm painting if I've got a bad hair day.
yeah,
It's what we do. It's what we do.
I love it.
So how do you stay motivated?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
sometimes that's difficult, isn't it?
It is, and I mean, especially over the Christmas holiday break, there was a couple of days where I actually had down days, but I'm like, I'm going to use these down days to catch up,
Mhm.
to wrap up the year and get the blog posts ready for our next quarter and all this kind of stuff, and I just had a hard time pushing through it. So I think you have to allow yourself to take that time off. If you don't
Yeah,
allow yourself to shut down and completely unplug, you won't be able to come back stronger and refreshed.
yeah.
So staying motivated, I think finding different interests as well. So for me, I love travel and I love things like that. So I need to add elements of that in my life. I'm very fortunate to have retailers worldwide. So if I do want to go
Still good
traveling,
economy. You've got to give yourself something to keep you
yeah,
motivated,
yeah,
motivation going. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
And then I think I would feel like I'm really letting people down if I didn't continue doing things how I do them. I'm always pushing forward. And you said I'm like the little energizer bunny because it's true. I'm just go, 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 go. But you do need to find a balance of that too because you can literally keep spinning like a spinning top until
Yeah,
you burn out and you crash. And I wonder if that's kind of, what happened to me middle of last year when I got sick and stuff like
yeah,
that. So it's all a learning experience. You
yeah.
push hard and you work hard, but you do need to take a step back and yeah,
And
motivation. A
delegate.
lot
I
of it.
think as well when we we're self-employed or we're our own bosses, it's really difficult to hand off tasks to people. And I
Oh,
know you've got a team. I know you've got lots of help,
yeah,
but I'll bet you're still finding it difficult to go. You can do that. You can do that.
it really is because you know how you do it, and then there's a whole other level of communication management that you then need to figure out. Because if you're not doing it, you're managing it, right? So I'm learning that, and that's really interesting. And no one will ever do it how you do it, and that's okay. But if someone can do it, 80% of how you would do it,
Yeah.
that's excellent because it's not you having to spend your time to do it, but the end result is still the same.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
it's something that other people can do better. There's some things
absolutely,
that um, you know, our time should be spent on the things that we're best at,
for sure.
and
Yeah,
then the rest of it.
and also things that you enjoy doing most too. So
Yeah,
like if you just don't like I won't touch accounting. I just will not do it. Can't stand it. Won't
yeah,
do it. I'm like that's going in a pile over there. My accountant. That's what she's for. The
yeah,
best money spent for sure is our bookkeeper. And like sometimes I don't love writing certain things, so I have someone to make things sound really pretty. And other times I love it. So it all depends on
yeah,
what you're passionate about at the time, and that really shows for sure.
yeah. It's a glitch.
That's okay. I think we're back.
Yeah, we're back. Sorry about that, people. So, what would you say the creative challenges are for business owners? You know, people thinking about starting out. What would your advice be to people who are thinking about doing this?
So it is really hard to have, I think, that balance of the creative and the business at the same time. It's hard to have both. Um, I've got a decent combo of both, but it is always a challenge because some people who are really strong in business may not have that creative side. So
Yeah.
sometimes partnering with a business partner can be good, but that also can present other challenges too. So I would say, start slow, start small, start with as little overhead as possible.
Yes.
Don't and plan it out. So make goals, but make them very realistic. So if you have this idea that you want to create something or start selling something, start planning it out. Say like a year from now, I'll be in production, or rather than being a product, but say like opening a store. Say opening a store is your dream, and you would want to be doing that and selling all these homemade goods, or consignment style. Start planning out and setting out and set budget and look at numbers. How much money do you need to be making a month to be able to pay for your overhead too? Because I think some people will just dive in sometimes too quick, too fast, and then it's not sustainable, and then they're closed within a year or two. So whatever you want to do, just start slow and really evaluate the numbers. Put a business plan together. And I know that sounds awfully boring, but it's actually
it is important. It is for us creative people, so the last thing we want to do. But I think if I could give anybody advice, I think that's what it would be. It would be just to get all of that nonsense that you don't like to do, get it done first, and then start all the pretty stuff, because it's done and out the way then. So I think if I had had a little bit more preparation before I started, I think it just would have made the ride smoother.
Well, it's like your foundation of your house, right? If the foundation's not strong, it doesn't matter what you keep putting on there. It's not going to be sustainable. So,
Right. So the next question is, so in our businesses, we wear lots of hats, not literal ones. But what's your favorite one to wear? So we do everything, don't we? Like you just said, we do it from A to Z, but some of them we hate to do, don't like to do, but which one's your favorite?
Oh my goodness. So this is going to be really weird because I love production so much, and I love like shipping and logistics like crazy. So when I used to be in the warehouse packaging orders and just seeing all that and that flow and that workflow, and like it's like checking off boxes all the time. I think that was like my absolute favorite thing before. But now that my roles sort of transitioned, gosh, my favorite thing, it's got to be the ability to be creative to no end, because I have that ability to create products and then do live videos or do YouTube content and share and educate. So it has to be the ability to inspire people, I think, is what it's come down to. And I'm always very humbled when people say, oh, I saw you do that and then I did it too. I'm always like, really? Okay, that's cool. So I love that I'm able to inspire others, and from a very practical standpoint.
I think I was surprised. I did teach people, I did workshops, I do workshops, but I was surprised how much I loved it. Because I was always alone, and I loved painting. I put my music on and I would paint away, and I loved it. And so I think I always thought having people interrupt that creative process for me, I didn't think I would enjoy it, but I loved it. Also, I was surprised about how much I'd love teaching people. So that was a surprise for me.
I love the workshops; they're great.
So we think we've answered that one. So this is the last question. So tell us 3 random facts about you, 3 random fun facts that we don't know. Well, it's a difficult question to answer, actually.
It is a difficult question. That I can't relax. It's my mom. She's just like, you can't relax. She's kind of true. I if the place isn't clean, or like, I never just sit down and relax. So I don't know if that's a total random fact. I think most people can probably figure that one out about me. I've probably been to almost 20 countries around the world in my 20s. I traveled to about 20 countries in my 20s. I never traveled before then because my mom's terrified of flying, so I didn't go anywhere. And I backpacked. That's all I did. Didn't have any money, so I just did it super on the cheap.
That's amazing.
So lots of countries all over South America, Central America, all over Asia. And it was a lot of fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
I really miss it. And then I used to figure skate, so that was really fun.
Really?
Yeah, I'm
I
actually.
can see you in skates.
I am totally going to get back into it, actually. So that's my plan. Once I get sort of a clean bill of health from my doctor, I'll be hoping to get back on those skates ASAP. And because I enjoy working out.
Can you do the twirl?
Oh yeah, the twirls, the jumps, all that fun stuff.
Really? That's amazing.
Yeah, it's good. Although the last few times I've done it,
just about stand up to hold the kids up. But I think if the kids want now, I don't think I'd even be able to stand up. But you know, when you've got to, because the kids are there,
yeah,
that's all I can do.
Oh my goodness, that's so cute. I can't wait to take my son skating. So that's it. I just got him little skates. They're like this big. It's the cutest thing in the world. Any other fun random facts you can think of, Mom?
Oh gosh, I was just thinking about
Come and say
your
hi.
personality.
Come and say hi. My mom.
Come and say hi, Mom.
I wasn't actually supposed to be here.
She's probably
Laurie Pringle,
It's a bit
president of Homestead House Company. Dun, dun, dun.
I was just thinking
it's
about
all her fault.
Yeah, well, I kind of burnt out. You know, after 15 years, it was 15 years. You just do everything, several hats. And I had a really hard time delegating anything to people because they just didn't do it as I did it. And I had a real problem with that. I wasn't even happy with the 80%. So sorry. But that I dug my own hole, right? That's what contributes to burnout. So I went back to nursing when you graduated. So I was looking for a way out of Homestead House. But that was, 15 years of, usually 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And
like 2 kids.
You weren't bad. You were self-sufficient, thank God. This was the younger one, right? So, and I was doing all my bookkeeping. Like HST would be a 4-day event, and I did not get a computer. I was doing it all manually, which was ridiculous, up until 2004. So that was awful. Yeah. Anyway, I went back to nursing, which I loved. But no, just about your personality, I'm thinking you're compassionate. And I'm thinking, where did that compassion come from? And I think it was all the times that you've been in the hospital. I mean, she was born with a little bit of a facial thingy. I won't get into that, but she's had about 20 surgeries. So many times in the hospital and dealing with, a lot of the kids next to you, like far worse conditions. And she was always helping them.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
She's helping her little friend. And then also when we were in the waiting rooms, you were always like, that poor person, da 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 da. It really grounded you too. Like, I mean, in high school, girls can be awful in high school. And you were like water off a duck's back, and these girls were really trying to like do their damnedest to be mean. And you were kind of like, this is nothing compared to those poor people in the hospital, right? And so, anyway. Random facts. That's a random fact.
That's an amazing random fact. That's good answers. Good answers. So I'm going to just have a look through the comments to see if anybody's got an amazing question.
I'm excited to see this after. So I never watch any of my videos. Again, I only go through the comments because I hate the sound of my own voice. I think everyone does.
I'll convince myself I don't sound like a farmer when I'm on here, but I know that I do. In our country, I'm from the West Country, so I'll sound like a farmer. So everybody in this country takes a mick out of my accent because I sound like a farmer. But I'll try not to, and I'll just pretend that I don't, but I know I do. So I don't watch them back either.
Sound great to me.
You don't sound like a farmer. Anyway, not the Canadian farmers.
Honestly.
I don't really know what farmers
Janners were called. Janners.
Janner.
I can't see many questions. So Sandy said, Sandy had a good one about paint. So Sandy would have to ask it because I can't see it.
Oh no.
I can only go down so far on the comments. So she can ask.
Well, you gave a lowdown of the history. I mean, we're going to have our 30th year anniversary this year. September. Yeah.
Really?
30 years this year.
I was trying to do some banking about 3 months ago, and I had to bring in our original incorporated papers. 30 years old. They had to get it verified by 2 different departments in the government of Ontario because it just looked like it. Did somebody photocopy this and randomly make it up? Yeah, it looked so awful. I mean, the only thing that saved our bottoms was the fact that it was sealed. It had the imprint, and I had the original seal still with me.
My
so
gosh.
it's
30 years. So you've been producing paint for 30 years, manufacturing paint for 30 years.
Yes, yes. And the pints, they were our oil-based pints.
Yeah, and oil.
They sold like hotcakes because it was perfect for a front door, back door project.
Yeah.
And some like a table or whatever. But that's when we sold a lot of oil-based paints.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm wearing my paint shirt and I'm showing it. Oh my gosh! Hold on, this is important.
Oh, this is from Melanie.
This is from Melanie Alexander at Lost and Found.
I got one when I was over there. I got the pink one.
Yeah, isn't it great? So it's like drink coffee and paint stuff.
Awesome.
First you drink the coffee,
yeah,
and then you paint the stuff in that order. It always has to be.
Fun fact.
Oh, got to start your day off on a coffee. And Sandy Campbell asked a lovely question. She said she wanted to know, how did they go about choosing the colours that they add to the range?
Like originally?
No, I think like maybe some of the new ones. So we look at kind of what's missing from the palettes. And a couple of years ago when we brought out things like cranberry, midnight blue, those were very popular colors back in the 90s from our previous, like the Homestead House line.
Yes.
So we knew they would be great. But we only started with 24 colors with Fusion. We wanted to keep it nice and easy for people. But then we knew that those would really grow and be beautiful colors. So we actually do have some new colors on the way. I haven't really told many people yet. But we kind of look at what's missing.
Exclusive, you've heard it here first, people.
There's always constant change, right? And then the guys at the warehouse saying, that color is not moving like at all. And then we start to wind it down and maybe, hey, it's picked for discontinuation. And then it like, boom, it's like, where is it? Yeah.
Well, it's just like Champness, one of our colors, was not really moving much.
It had been given the axe, actually.
So I said, no.
2 years ago.
And I had an amazing blogger, Lauren Shaver, from Bless Her House. I said, could you do a piece using Champness, but maybe add some like black wax to it and just make it look a little bit rustic? Oh man, no one could keep it in stock. Everyone's so visual.
We had to do a double run of that puppy.
It was great.
And it came back. Yeah. And it came back with a vengeance.
Anytime anybody's thinking about a blue and they're not sure, I've only got to show them that card. And they're fine, I'll have that colour. Yeah.
And it became our color, like the feature, because it's just so beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, it is beautiful.
So we kind of see what's missing, or we look at things that have been really popular in the past, and you got to keep things fresh. So you do have to change up every now and then, but keep some of our core. Like bringing out raw silk, I just knew was going to be amazing. Everyone's like, "Oh, do we really?"
We thought about that because it's like, it's so close to Champlain, you can't see it. You just change the light bulb and the Champlain turns to raw silk, right? Or
like,
the white.
No,
it's so simple.
No. But you can literally have 50 shades of white, and they're all valuable.
Good.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be a new color card.
White's a Cinderella thing.
It's a white.
Somebody, Kate asked, how did you decide to work with Michael Penny?
Oh yeah, great question. So I had heard about Michael Penny. Gosh, I think he called me up and he said, "Do you have like a chalk paint or something like that?" So I don't have a chalk paint, but I am coming out with something that I think you might be interested in down the road someday. So when it came out, he was kind of first on my list to call, and I said, "Hey, you might be interested in this. This is what I developed, Fusion." And I went into his store, and he had this beautiful old garage that he retrofitted into a store. And I walked in, and it was just like heaven. It was so beautiful. He had all the seaside vibes going on, and with a bit of country, French, like country chic farmhouse style going too. And it was just gorgeous. And I went, in my mind at that point, I want to work with him. That was just set.
Well, he's fun.
And
he loved his personality. He's just a fun guy.
He's so funny. He's so down to earth. He's such a sweetheart. And I thought, okay, I'm going to present an idea. And he loved it. So yeah, we now have 14 or 15 colors with him, and they're beautiful. And he's on the Marilyn Denich show, and he gets to feature those colors from time to time. And he's in style at home and house and home, and you name it. So we're very fortunate to work with him.
Yeah, and he loves color. He doesn't mind grabbing something that's a little bit out there. Like
he loves that, like that vintage.
The park bench was kind of questionable because we've had bright greens before, and they just sit on the shelf, right?
Amazing.
But
it's amazing.
It's done really, really well. Especially, you've seen the park bench with the black or espresso wax on that. Wow, especially black.
If you ever want to tone down a color, just add espresso or black wax or aging wax, and it's like amazing.
Yeah. I've got a question for Laurie. Jackie said, "What color is your bestseller, Laurie?"
Oh, I think it's Champlain. Oh, it's raw silk.
It's raw silk.
I'm biased. I think it's Champlain.
It's raw silk.
There you go.
Number one seller is raw silk. Yes.
Yeah. And Kate's just commented, "We loved his store, didn't we, Sarah?" Because Kate and I went to his store when we were over there.
Isn't it adorable? It's adorable.
I think I must have took about 1,000 photos.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic. Every time I go in there, I'm like, oh, can you come to my house, please?
Yes, yeah. Every 4 feet, it's in different little,
It's like vignettes.
Yes.
Yeah, he does such a good job of it. And it's cozy, and it's casual, and it's well priced. Yeah.
Oh, it's really reasonable, actually.
I was amazed.
There's a lot of outlet malls around where he is, and, there's no point in going to the outlet malls.
He's got it.
He's got it right down.
It's just so perfect in there. Everything is just curated.
It is.
Yeah.
It's curated, exactly. So if you want that look, he'll do it for you.
Yeah. Sandy Campbell said, "Can you name your favorite color?" I know it's almost impossible, she said.
Pretty much, but I think it's the Inglenook. I think this is asked already. At the conference. Inglenook, because it's just a little bit of a chameleon, right? Depending on your lighting, it has a bit of a, at this time of day, it would be blue. At night, you'd see a bit of a blue-green.
Yeah.
And it's just soft.
It's a soft farmhouse color.
Slightly muted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I have this problem. Every time I see a color, I'm like, oh, that's one of my favorites. And I'm like, oh, geez, they're all my favorites. It's really hard.
Well, if I see a beautiful piece, because on Paint It Beautiful, and I always say that's my favorite. No one's cottoned on yet that I say it to everybody, because they just are at the time.
They're so beautiful. Yeah. And that's the wonderful thing about having such a small range is it's curated collection of colors. So they are very popular, and they do work with many different other colors as well. So
and the product line itself, I mean, you can go off on a tangent and customize it if you want, just by adding like a little tester into
super easy.
A pint, and you've got a consistent customized color, right?
Yes, yeah, sure. I love customizing the colors. So I think I've took up enough of your time. It's been we took longer than we thought, actually, didn't we?
I'm sure. I don't even know what time it is, but
I don't
probably
know,
have to leave to pick up my son soon.
Yeah, sorry about that, girls. But thank you very much for coming on. I'm so pleased that you, as usual, took the time out of your schedule to help us out. You're amazing.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah. Right, so I'm gonna end it. I'll speak to you soon. Hopefully, have we got any surprise retreats coming up?
Oh,
there are dates being discussed. I'm definitely going to be in your neck of the woods next year for some personal reasons as well. And I can't wait to see that beautiful coast of Cornwall. Seeing Sandy as well, if she's still on.
Yeah, I think we're all going down Sandy's next weekend, the weekend after, for a girls' weekend.
Oh, perfect.
I'll be there.
All right.
Come on over. She won't mind.
I'll be coming over this year, though, for sure. So
that'll be amazing. I can't wait. All right, hopefully see you either here or there soon.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
Thanks for doing this. Thanks a lot. Bye.